Welcome back to Fantasy Football Today, presented by Capital One. Fun slate of games coming up on Sunday on CBS. Wait till you see the pictures of what's happening in Buffalo. The game being moved, though, to Detroit between the Browns and the Bills. And this is what it looks like. I mean, why would they want to stay and play in this? It's just absolutely amazing. Absolutely ridiculous what's going on in Buffalo. We hope everybody there is safe. Clearly, that's first and foremost. But yeah, get out of Buffalo. Let's play this game in Detroit, where the football will be clean, hopefully, between the Browns and the Bills. Let's talk about this game now here. Again, we're going to do our game breakdowns as we do every Friday. We're going to give you some start and sit suggestions, give you some DFS plays as well, and then props. Typically, we don't have props, unfortunately, for this one because, as you would imagine, they're off the board, but the props are going to be brought to us by the Caesars Sportsbook and Casino. So the first game, Dave, this is yours. The injuries that we're looking at here, David Njoku and Josh Allen. We hope that Allen should be fine. Njoku is trying to get back after the extended absence with the ankle sprain. The starter sit play is Gabe Davis. The DFS play is Stephon Diggs on DraftKings and FanDuel. He's expensive but worth it. And let's talk about a few of these situations. So we already got into a little bit of a conversation about the Browns receiving corps. So I'll ask you the question now, Dave. Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, how much do you like, love, or maybe want to avoid either of these two guys?
First of all, I want to resist the whole Amari Cooper home road thing, but you look at the targets for him. It's not like he's getting a ton of targets when they're on the road anyway.
Neutral site now.
Yeah, guess what? He's still not sleeping in his own bed. He's still not meeting with the team at the facility and going on a bus to the First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. He's on the road. And so I get a little bit nervous, but I also know that the Browns are probably going to have to throw in this game, play from behind. There is an opportunity for him to put up the types of numbers that we start him for. So I'm using him as a number 2 wide receiver this week. I'm still resisting it. I'll feel foolish if he has another bad game, and I'll wait for you to say I told you so, because he's on the road, he's having a bad game.
I think it's a combination of indoor surface is better, avoiding the mess in the snow. The matchup is good.
Yeah, right.
The setup is good. Mm-hmm. And I think also, you're just looking at, last week, as Adam alluded to, he was facing a tough cover with Xavier Howard.
We didn't talk Peoples-Jones. He's been really consistent in PPR. I think he's a great number 3 receiver in PPR. Hasn't scored yet this year. Those red zone targets have been going to Amari Cooper. This could be the week for Peoples-Jones, so I think you should get him in lineups.
And even if you're not starting him this week, stash him, because he's been playing well with subpar quarterback play. Not to take anything away from Jacoby Brissett, but if Deshaun Watson's Deshaun Watson, then you're getting much better production rest of the way. Adam, we know we're starting Josh Allen, we're starting Stephon Diggs, we're probably starting Gabe Davis. What about Devin Singletary? Is he a must start, maybe start? How are you approaching the Bills running back?
He is a maybe start. He's not a bad number 2 running back. He has 14 to 17 carries in 3 of his last 4 games. And there have been 4 running backs who have had 14 to 17 carries against Cleveland, and all 4 of them scored a touchdown. 2 of them rushed for 119 or more yards. It's a little bit of a flimsy stat, but it just goes to show you don't need that much work to be good against the Browns. They have a very bad run defense. So I'm okay with Singletary. It's kind of a little bit of a mess at RB2 this week, and I'm fairly confident in his role. I think he's okay.
I actually liked him better if the game was going to be in snow, because we see those running backs, they know where they're going. The slick surface tends to help them as opposed to the defense, but I think still he should be okay given the matchup, given the surface in Detroit. Next game we're looking at here is the Eagles at the Colts. The Jeff Saturday debut was successful. We'll see how things go in game number 2, and you got the Eagles coming off their first loss, so we'll see what that matters to them. Injuries that we're looking at here: no more Dallas Goedert, out for the next 4 weeks with the shoulder injury. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown expected to play, but again, just keep an eye on the final injury report. The starter sit suggestion, according to Adam, is to start Paris Campbell. The DFS play is Paris Campbell, and the prop to play is it's Matt Ryan over 228.5 passing yards at plus 104 from Caesars Sportsbook. So let's start with the Eagles first. You know what? No, actually, I'm going to change that, because you obviously like Paris Campbell, so I'm going to give Dave the Eagles question. So I'm going to give you the Colts question here, Adam. Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell, you look at these 2 receivers, they clearly benefit with Matt Ryan back, but this is a tough matchup against a good Eagles secondary. So how much do we like Michael Pittman and Paris Campbell?
First of all, I'm calling an upset in this game. Just want that on the record.
Sure.
Colts are going to win.
Wow.
And, yeah, they're a well-coached team. And I only like these guys in PPR, honestly. This passing attack is so uninspiring, but it's it's like Deontay Johnson last year. Okay, it's a lot of targets, short area, high catch rate, probably 6-7 catches for both of them. Gives you a very safe floor. So I don't love them. Paris Campbell's pretty cheap on DFS. That's why I put him as my DFS play. But I do like them as borderline 2-3 wide receivers in full PPR. In non or half PPR, I would go with a lot of other players who have a lot more upside and more touchdown potential. Well, the Pittman, I don't want to sell Pittman short, but certainly Campbell in non or half PPR is more of a sit. in full PPR, he's a solid play.
I mean, that's just totally disrespectful for a guy that scored 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games he's played with his quarterback. So he is fine in the end zone. So maybe not horrible in non-and-half PPR. So Dave, put these 2 guys in perspective to Devontae Smith, because Smith coming off a good game, now no more Dallas Goedert. This is a secondary that, while the numbers suggest it's tough, the competition was certainly not what they've been able to do against their opposing wide receivers. So does Smith now get a significant enough boost where it's easy to say must-start receiver?
It's especially the case because there's no Dallas Goedert on the field. And Goedert was the go-to guy for Jalen Hurts in crucial moments. 3rd downs, long 2nd downs, the gotta-have-it plays. Goedert was that dude. Now I think it's going to be Smith with A.J. Brown being the shot play guy. And I think both of those wide receivers are going to be great. I would absolutely start Devontae Smith ahead of both Colts wide receivers. Does not matter the format at all. And this is an Eagles offense that I think is embarrassed by what they did last week. They couldn't sustain long drives against the Commanders. Colts are a different class of defense. They're a step down. They should be able to have their way with them.
All right, so we'll see what happens there from a passing perspective. But Devontae Smith still in that gray area most weeks. However, this week, as you heard from Dave, and I agree, you could feel a little bit more comfortable starting him without Dallas Goedert on the field. Next game we're looking at here, last one for CBS for the 1 o'clock games, is the Jets and the Patriots. These 2 teams met in week number 8. No surprise, the Patriots won, but the Jets coming off a big win last time we saw them with a victory against Buffalo. Both teams coming off of their bye from week number 10. The injuries that we're looking at here, Corey Davis has already been ruled out. Devontae Parker will see if he's able to return. The starter sit suggestion for me is really sit both Jets running backs, with Michael Carter more the prominent of the 2. The DFS play, Garrett Wilson, very cheap on DraftKings and FanDuel, so you should be looking to play him. But you should also be looking to play Jacoby Myers, and the props for him over 46.5 receiving yards feels like an easy one, especially if Devontae Parker is out. So let's talk about the receivers in this game. Dave, I'll start with you. So you got Garrett Wilson, Jacoby Myers. Both guys did very well the last time these 2 teams met. Myers had one of his best games this season, 21 PPR points. Garrett Wilson not far behind. The 2 games without Breece Hall, he's been very good. 14 PPR points in both of those games, hasn't scored a touchdown. So, given the landscape of receivers, given what we saw the last time these 2 teams met, can you comfortably start both of them?
You can, and it's especially the case in PPR, and I like Myers more so than Garrett Wilson in all formats, not just full PPR, but also non-PPR. I think that just Jacoby Myers has that locked role in New England. I think he's a really good wideout. And I think Garrett Wilson is too. I'm a little bit nervous about his quarterback, obviously, with Zach Wilson. Probably going to have to throw a lot in this game. They're not going to be able to run very well, so I like the sit recommendations of the Jets running backs. But Garrett Wilson should be the top target getter. And he was a problem for the Patriots early in their Week 8 matchup. I think you're going to see him be a problem again. I just don't know how many deep plays he's going to get against New England. Look for a lot of volume, something along the lines of a 7-catch, 80-yard type of game, which makes him a great DFS play too.
Should be great. Again, since Hall's gone down, since Davis has been out, targets have been up, and production has been certainly there as well. And don't overlook Tyler Conklin, too. Last time, again, these 2 teams met, 2 touchdowns in that matchup. The Patriots have not been the same Patriots defense against opposing tight ends. Adam, in terms of the Jets, a lot of fantasy managers stuck starting one of these 2 guys, whether it's a flex play or as a number 2 running back. So give me the breakdown. Michael Carter, James Robinson. Again, we thought they would struggle against Buffalo, and both came through finding the end zone in that matchup.
Yeah, but the split was so even that it makes me a little bit nervous if they fall behind. If they're trailing, what are we looking at here? 8 carries for each of them. I would rather have Michael Carter. If you're going to tell me that the carries are going to be similar and Carter's much more likely to have the catches, I would take Michael Carter, but I agree with you. He is a sit. You could try to get away from him. I think it'd be a little bit bold to say start Jerick McKinnon or Jalen Warren over him. I wouldn't do that. I would start Carter over those guys, but hopefully you have a better option than Michael Carter.
And look, it would be great if they come through and do have success against the Patriots, but New England's still sitting on allowing 2 touchdowns to running backs on the season. Both of them came from the Chicago Bears in that surprise upset in a primetime matchup earlier this year.